Good morning, students. Now, your new topic of first chapter is work ethics and dignity of labor. So, work whether a paid job or unpaid work in the home as a caregiver or in a voluntary capacity is fundamental to human nature. Every human being is infinitely worthy. However, in modern times, wealth is being given more importance. Whatever the type of work done, or the position held, or financial status, every person deserves respect. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Every individual, through his or her share of work, however big or small, contributes to the betterment of the society. Dignity. Dignity of labor means that the person take pride in whatever he does. Abraham Lincoln was the son of farmer and rose from a penniless boy to become the president of the United States of America. Mahatma Gandhi was a shining example of the dignity of labor. He did sweeping, scavenging and cleaning in the ashram in Bharda. He never felt degraded or insulted in doing the jobs that some people consider inferior or menial. He used to clean his own toilet to demonstrate the dignity of labor. So, next is performance, creativity, and innovation. Performance can be explained as accomplishment of a given task. Generally, performance is measured against standards of accuracy, completeness, cost, and speed. Performance of human beings is generally determined by desire and motivation, ability, and the capability to do the job. The work environment includes the tool, material, and information needed to the job, also influence our performance. The abilities to be resourceful, creative, and innovative are closely linked to good performance. The next is creativity. Creativity in individuals is influenced by motivation, your internal motivation and passion to develop something new, different, and original. Resources. Resources means your knowledge, expertise, access to information. And creative thinking. Creative thinking skills are the capacity to think out of the box and to innovatively put exciting ideas together in a new combination. Next is creativity at work can be stimulated by one or more of the following. First is freedom in deciding work to do or how to do it. Second is challenge to work hard on important projects. Third is resources needed to do the work. Fourth is encouragement from good work models. And last is support from the work teams. Innovation implies to do something that is routine in a better and different way. Thus, innovation may mean renewal or altering an exciting product or service. The prerequisite for innovation is the dissatisfaction with the current status and a creative mind working to improve and improvise. It can also be explained as an exciting idea for a literally different purpose or application. Whatever the innovation, it is generally 1% innovation to 99% participation. Next is job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is a complex and multifaceted concept which can mean different things to different people. Job satisfaction is usually linked with motivation, but the nature of the relationship is not clear. Satisfaction is not the same as motivation. Job satisfaction is more an attitude, an internal state associated with the personal feeling of achievement, either quantitative or qualitative. In recent years, attention to job satisfaction has become more closely associated with broader approaches to improve job design and work organization and the quality of working life movement. Research on job satisfaction shows that those individuals who are more satisfied on their job are self confident, feel competent in work, and life. Jobs that offer recognition, variety in skills, give a sense of personal identity, promote a sense of achievement, give a sense of responsibility, freedom and independence of action, and opportunity for advancement are likely to give more satisfaction. Next topic is productivity, time management, and multitasking. Productivity can be explained as the efficient use of resources such as labor, that is manpower, capital, that is money, land, energy, material, information in the production of various goods and services. It is a measure of the output in relation to per unit of input. For example, labor productivity is typically measured as a ratio of output for working hour, which is an input. In fact, it implies more effective use of human and capital resources. Productivity can be considered as a comprehensive measure of how organizations manage to meet two attributes. First is efficiency, that is, how effectively resources are utilized for useful output, and effectiveness, that is, what is achieved compared to what is possible, feasible. Next is your time management. Time is one of the most valuable resources. Managing it means more than just managing yourself in relation to time. Rather, it means setting priorities, being willingness to change those habits or activities that cause waste of time. It may also require you adopt habits and methods that enable you to make maximum use of time. With good time management skills, you can control your time, stress, and energy. You can maintain balance between your work and personal life. Next is your multitasking. What do you mean by multitasking? Multitasking is regarded as an essential skill at the workplace in these modern times. Life in the 21st century has become increasingly complex and involves doing many different tasks simultaneously. Attempts to multitask can be honed and polished into a fine skill. It involves having diverse skills and making optimum use of them. Multitasking began with homemakers and naturally with women, but has now become essential at work desks and chambers in most offices and organizations. Every person is required to multitask. Some are more adept at than others. Today's professionals are valued for their ability to handle information and manage time efficiently. The next is achieving or completing a number of tasks in less time is a challenge that all of us, and we should actively look for ways and tips that helps us in accomplishing this. Therefore, students who are the future professional need to develop such skill by practicing them. The best time to start being right now. Make a list of what you have to do and prioritize items. Start with most important tasks. Doing the difficult things first help to finish it faster rather than procrastinating and being worried about it. Focus on the task at hand and give it your full attention to be effective and efficient. Take a short break occasionally. Reduce any kind of interruption. Constant interruption, especially for relatively unimportant matters, make one lose focus. Next is your work and work environment. All human beings like to survive and thrive in an environment that encourages and motivates them to do all good work that are capable of. Therefore, it is crucial to have a culture of creating happy and healthy work environments, not only in the physical and social sense, but also in the deeper psychological, mental, and emotional aspects. A healthy work environment can rightly be called a positive work environment, such as an environment can be created by focusing on paying adequate attention to the individual employee need and expectation in addition to organizational needs, providing an attractive and safe environment, matching the person to the task, ensuring and facilitating technical competence. Last is your making the job interesting and challenging. Next point is fostering team spirit and team responsibility, being fair and treating people equally, building a positive work climate ethos, motivating individuals and providing sustained opportunity for self-development of employees, developing employees through training, building confidence, feedback, encouragement, and praise, support positive reinforcement, and involving them. Last is empowering employees, giving them authority wherever appropriate. All of this can help the employer to boost the morale of those involved in the organization workplace. In short, any wise employer manager recognize the people are assessed and are the ultimate valuable resource, hence creating and providing the climate environment where employees feel a sense of loyalty to the organization, and organization development is viewed as important as self development. The next topic of here is what is occupational health. The modern definition of occupational health, ILO and WHO, is the promotion and maintenance of the highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of worker in all occupations, total health of all at work. It represents a dynamic equilibrium between the worker and his occupational environment. It is dedicated to identifying and preventing ill health in the workplace through appropriate occupational health monitoring. It also ensures that an individual does not have a specific medical condition that would be made worse whilst in the working environment. The purpose of ensuring occupational health is as follows: to maintain and promote the physical, mental, and social well-being of the worker, to achieve maximum human efficiency and machine efficiency, to reduce occupational hazards and accidents. In short, the goal of occupational health care is a healthy and safe working environment, a well functioning working community, prevention of work related disease, as well as the maintenance of employees' working ability and functional capacity, and promotion of their health. This involves ensuring that the premises are safe, the machinery and materials are safe, system of work, the working environment and facilities are safe, information, instruction, training and supervision is provided to employees on safety matters, employees' working ability with the load is assessed and their health status is monitored. Above all, hazards are limited, reduced to the extent possible. Next topic is your what are occupational hazards? They are viewed as source or situation with the potential for harm in terms of injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to workplace environment, or a combination of these. Occupational hazards are the various types like physical, chemical, biological, mechanical, and psychosocial. What are benefit of occupational health care and safety measure? Benefits are both for the employees as well as the organization as a whole. Employer For the employees workers, the benefit include better health and earning capacity, better quality of work life, prevention of accident and any temporary or permanent disability, improved morale and enhanced productivity. Next is for the organization employer, there are several advantages that translate into financial benefits due to greater productivity as a result of reduced absenteeism due to sickness by preventing occupational disease, other work related illnesses, increased profitability by keeping the workforce healthy, enabling the organization to focus on core business, reduce risk and cost of litigation, reduce medical and legal claims, reduce workers' compensation costs, better staff attendance and retention, improve staff motivation and performance. So student, that's all for the today. Thank you.